Dave Carden from Telstra is the man who can enlighten you into how you can make sure that what you're using in your business can particularly be used exceptionally well in the changing environments that exist. Just a bit about Dave. He's 24 years of experience in the ICT industry with Telstra Corporation and Commander Australia, with extensive knowledge on the business drivers and principles, enabling technologies and the service models associated with ICT, and also with cloud solutions, which are also starting to really take off. His specialty areas include new business development, channel management, sales management, ICT business strategies, just to name a few areas. His current position is he is the General Manager for the Solution Sales Group at Telstra. He's held that position since July 2008. Now, that Solutions Sales Group is the sales centre of excellence in specialist sales for the Telstra Business Partner Channel. He knows just about everything there is to know about when it comes to what Telstra can do and as far as what they can do for your business. Please make him welcome, Dave Carden.
Thanks very much. Thank you. I probably should set the scene a little bit before we spend about 45 minutes together. I looked at the agenda and I looked at the people that present before you. You often do this when you speak in public forums. And I looked at Grant's topic and I thought, wow, what an interesting topic for small businesses. I've looked at the staff, how to retain your staff here, money, cash flow planning, all the essentials for business. Then I come down and I look at Dave Carden from Telstra, the next generation of technology for business. And I thought, that might be a really, really dry or boring topic for a small business owner that's facing tough economic times, wants to grow their business, is looking for ways to do things smarter and better. Do you really want to have a guy from Telstra come up and talk to you about pure technology and just yabber on? Now, I will touch on some technology, so don't worry about that for you techno heads out there. I want to change it a little bit here into a bit more sharing some of our experiences. And I've changed the title, and I've got it up there, Changing the Way Our Customers Live and Work. And that's it's not a mission statement, it's not a vision statement, it's actually a purpose in small business, and it's driven by our CEO, David Thodey, to radically change the way we think about our communication solutions, especially for small business. And so today, what I want to share with you is some of the things that are available now that can help change the way they live and work. Can I just say this? I'm assuming I'm talking to a lot of business owners here. So some people, I heard someone over here talking to Grant, they've just started a business. You know, there's an amazing amount of effort that's required to generate a business, drive a business, grow a business, and also have a life. And so we find more and more in the small business space that the work-life balance isn't just a buzzword anymore. It's changing the way people want to live and work, and that's what I'm going to share with you at the moment. Now, there's a lady I saw outside. She saw there she is. They're going to tell me, technology. I'm not going to really interested in that. I'm going to use you as my benchmark afterwards to tell me whether I hit the mark. Okay. I want you to start thinking about your own situation first off. And I don't know what you use for market research, but my primary market research, I use my teenage children as my first indicator of what's happening out in the marketplace and the way they actually expect things, because they're the next little tip about the way our kids are working, the way customers actually evolve, because these people become consumers very, very quickly. And the first thing that I look at is that there's so many different technologies, the way they communicate, the way they actually interact. Their expectation has changed remarkably, driven by technology. And they expect things to work. They expect instantaneous replies, regardless of night or day. And then I think about this in business. I think about, are we just doing business now from a bricks and mortar location, or has business changed? Are we out of the office more? Do we want to be out of the office more? Do we want to be able to work from home? Do we want to be able to work from a number of locations? And then my mind thinks, why? Because more than ever, the customer is the one who is important. Think about your business. Think about it from the customer perspective at the moment, just in your own individual businesses. Can your customers connect with you when they want to? Nothing to do with your shop hours, nothing to do with 7 days a week. Can they connect with you how they want to? And if yes, that's fantastic. But if no, and you're looking for a different way to do things, then maybe what we're going to talk about here today will help you. We do a lot of work with small businesses all around the country, and I get to talk to many, many small businesses. And not one time have I had a business owner come up to me and say, Dave, I want to talk to you about a 4 gigabyte plan. I want to talk to you about this or that, this technology. They're talking about, I want to grow my business. I want to find ways to reduce costs, improve customer satisfaction, make my staff happier. I want to know how I can grow in a tough economic climate. And Tasmania is going through some tough economic conditions at the moment. You need flexibility to change, because one of the cornerstones of small business is having the flexibility to be able to respond to market conditions. And if your technology and infrastructure setup is too rigid and doesn't be able to bend and flex as your business bends and flex, you could find yourself in trouble. The other thing I hear a lot more and more is we're working even harder, and that can be the downside in some of the technology. Is anyone here not got a smartphone, as a mobile phone today? Has anyone not got one? So it used to be a lot more people just had a mobile phone, but it's almost impossible to find a phone that's not calling itself a smartphone. So you start to text people when you're having a conversation, you might be on Facebook, you might be just checking your email, you're always on. So people are working even harder. And I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, and that's not what technology is about. Technology might be about if you're a business owner and your son or daughter is racing in the school finals in the afternoon and you want to go and watch them and connect with them, but you can still actually respond to an order if someone wants to put in a new sales order by using the technology. Technology is about giving you the choice, okay? And that's not working harder, it's about working smarter. Now, you've probably heard that term many, many times before, but it's true. And if it's not helping you work smarter, then I'd question whether it's relevant at all. The last thing we hear a lot is that, how do I keep up with technology? So if you're not in the technology industry, it sort of doesn't make sense to invest a whole heap of resources and a whole heap of time trying to manage your technology to grow your business. You think about it, and this is there's a term that gets put around a lot in the IT industry. It's called cloud computing. Has anyone heard about the cloud and things like that? Can I just have a show of hands? It's good to hear actually that people have heard of that before. Basically what the concept of cloud computing is, it takes you back to the 1950s and 1960s. We had a big mainframe computer and everyone shared the resources. But moving forward with our technology, it's a little bit more sophisticated than that. And what cloud or central or hosted type solutions allow you to do is to share the infrastructure. Now, how many people here own their own road that they drove here today on? No, you shared it with everyone. You shared it instead. It doesn't make sense for you to own your own road. You expect people, you only want to use it when you want to use it. How many people own their own power station? Now, sometimes you do. Sometimes you own a power station. Tasmania, I always get the question that you're asking there with the industry, you might have to have generators, but we don't. We have a power grid and we have a socket and we get power out of there and we get devices. Anyone own their own gas plants, water plants? These are all utility. And the benefits by being able to use this infrastructure, sharing it, you can actually focus your resource, your energy, on things that matter to you. And that's what it's about. And we can help you do that with digital business. I want you to still think about your own situation before we talk about how we can help there. When you hear the term connectivity, what does it mean to you? To me, it means more than just people ringing me. It's access to information for me. I want to talk to customers, suppliers, partners, my family, my kids. I want to be connected with the people that matter to me. As a dad, down here on business, I want to be connected if my daughter needs me. I want to be connected if my sales team needs me. To ask that question, Dave, we can get this deal if I can get your approval right now. And I want to be able to go, yeah or no. I want to be connected. I want people to have access to me. And in real time. I think about this, and I try and put my life examples into dealing with small business. I was lucky enough to be in a position for my wife to tell me you need to invest in a pool. For those of you who are married, you'll know that you make a lot of investment decisions based on what you were told. And I thought, a pool? I know nothing about pools, and all I'm seeing is a lot of money that I'm going to have to pay off there. So I know nothing about pools, but I know it's a lot of money. And, okay, so what do I do? How do I go get a pool? So I think, okay, I'll treat it like a house extension. I can live with that. I'll put it on the housing loan, and I'll survive this trauma of investing. But I still don't know anything about pools. So I check in the local, I think it was the white page or yellow pages. Who are the pool guys around my area? And I rang up a few, and one guy came out and he just sort of walked around and said, oh, yeah, you'll have to put a big hole here, and didn't give me much and didn't say much. Another guy came out. He rang me back, and he said, I'm not the sales guy, I'm the guy that digs the pool hole. But I'm around the corner now because I just got an email. I can come and see you right now. I said, okay. He came round, and he was fantastic. He told me exactly what I would need to do, and straight away he responded to me because he was reachable and he was just round the corner. And you know what? Without any other quotes, I went and bought that pool with this company, and I still am in debt. But the point being there is that he was connectable. I didn't know about pools. Now, not everyone buys a pool every week, but if people have got choice, responsiveness is an absolute key factor to success. When you're in a competitive market and you've got alternatives that people can go and choose to, if you're not there, it's quite likely someone will go somewhere else. Harnessing the power of online. We've heard about websites and what that can really do. And I think, I'm not going to go too far into that today. Actually, I'm not going to go into that at all because you've talked about marketing if you've been in some of the earlier sessions. But the business network is really, really key. Think about the business network holistically, your staff, your suppliers, your competitors, your customers. Are you connected in? Do you understand what's happening in the industry? Then you can take that information and be part of that industry. The next thing I want you to think about is productivity. What does productivity mean to you? So invariably we look about flexibility. We want to save time. These aren't earth-shattering stuff. Reducing costs. I want to be profitable. I want to be working smarter. These are all the key things we hear time and time again from small businesses. And what we've started to think about, okay, with things like has anyone heard of the NBN? Yeah. When we hear about these things, the NBN is I'm not going to get into a politically charged debate around the NBN, but what it does, what essentially the whole concept does, is NBN provides us this layer, like a really good superhighway. It's the same as Telstra's 4G network. It gives you just a highway. That's all it is. It's what you do with it. It's what you do with it that's the absolute critical key to harnessing to work smarter. And that's what we're going to do. But before we get into the next bit, the tools of trade have certainly changed. It used to be just the telephone, then the telephone and the computer, then we had the internet as standard tools of trade, then we must have email. Now it's moved to smartphones and tablets. All of these devices and tools and technology are pretty much standard tools of trade in business. And these are the tools that allow you to be connected anywhere. Now, on their own, okay, they've all got fantastic sort of features and functionality. But if you're not in IT or telco, making all of these things work together correctly in the way you want at a reasonable price is a massive challenge. So what we often hear from small businesses is, yep, I need all this technology, I want to do this, I want to grow my business, I've got this, I don't really understand all the different options to me. And we invariably get to this next question. All that's great, Dave. I've heard about cloud, I've heard about computing. So, as a small business owner, how do I get there? And that's what I really want to share with you today. What we did, we changed. That's okay to have mobile phones. It's all about core connection. You've got to be connected. That's okay. You can leave your mobile phones on. We changed our strategy completely into what is now gone from a traditional PMG through Telecom Australia to Telstra to what we are today as Telstra, as a retail service provider. And our cloud services are about providing the tools of the trade to small businesses that you've never been able to have access before. We've got software as a service. And actually last time I was down talking at TCCI, we were talking about a new concept called T-Suite around applications in the cloud for small business that only large business ever had. Just this week, we passed 100,000 subscribers in small business alone into that. It's more than 10% of small business in Australia are now using cloud services as their way of getting applications rather than having a server and getting all the licensing, and they're finding extraordinary benefits out of that. We've got infrastructure as a service, which I'm not going to touch on today. That's a little bit of a different one. What I'm going to talk to you about today is the lifeblood of business, telephony, and telephony as a service, and how digital business, a new concept that we've come up with, enables you to do things that you've never been able to think of before. These are the sort of reasons that people move. It's not because of technology, it's about they want to be more agile. They're looking for flexibility, they're looking to store information. Today, the storage of information is all electronic, and this is really, really hard to manage. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this slide because these things are different to every sort of business. But it's important you know, these are why small businesses make that initial decision first off. And when I look at these make sense to me, but it still doesn't go and help me change the way I live and work. These are all very reasonable. I want to be more agile, I want to be more flexible, I don't want to manage all my data anymore. Who has automated backup of electronic data in their business today? That's not many. What happens if you lose important information? What happens to you? The biggest loss of important customer data doesn't come from someone hacking you, it comes from losing your laptop or someone just overrides a file. But if you just had a simple automated data backup solution that just looked at your computer when you're on the internet and just said, oh, you've changed that file, I'll just change that thing, you'd have peace of mind. It's amazing how many people don't have that. The storage of information is absolutely critical for business. Your information, your customer information is your lifeblood. Of course, security and cost efficiency. Now, these are, again, reasons why people start to do it from an IT perspective, but it isn't the key. The key is changing the way, and this is what digital business does. For the first time, we've leveraged all of our next generation capability, all the investments that have been made in a broadband network and our mobile network, and we put it together so it allows you to concentrate on what you do well so you can grow revenues and run your business in more flexible ways than you ever have before. In a former role, I was a communications consultant. And one of the questions I'd ask people is, tell me about the way your business operates. Tell me about your current business. And I used to go down that path a lot until I realised that's all good and well and it's important. The right question is, how would you like to operate? Because people just have a look at the current situation and say, well, that's exactly how this small business operates, and we get typecast to that. But nobody asks them, how would you like to? If you could do something differently, would you? And people think about that and go, yeah, perhaps I will. Perhaps I will do something a bit different, but I don't think that my technology infrastructure is going to help me get there. So what we've done with digital business, we've taken the tools of the trade and we've integrated them into a simple package that integrates not only in the way you purchase it, not only in the way it bills for you, the way it operates together. So it takes all of the hardware devices you use, the tools of the trade, it takes the networks, the wireless networks and the fixed networks, and puts them together. It puts together simple things like calling plans into simple packages that actually operate the way you want to operate. And I'm going to share with you how we've done that. Who's got a mobile phone plan today? Yeah, if we've got a mobile phone plan, who's got just a fixed line telephone plan? Most people have fixed line telephone plans as well, and a mobile plan. Did anyone actually ask you, how did you want to work? We just look at what it is. I want this much data. I just want to get this much data for this much price. About right? That's usually the conversation. Yeah, that's pretty common. But what digital business allows you to look at is all the applications that come in there. So your text, your messaging on top of that. So all the applications you use in general day-to-day business links in and integrates properly with the hardware without having the need to have complex IT setups and a whole lot of support. We integrated at network layer. So things as simple, as technology, as complex technology of getting your emails just popping seamlessly into your smartphone is done at the cloud layer. It's all included. So all the things that you think about, oh gee, I'd love to do that, but I just don't know how to get started, digital business allows you to do. There's a number of elements. So I start up here if I start up here, we look at the broadband layer. So think about your own business in the layer. So we start with connectivity. We start with the broadband core. And then next thing that goes onto a broadband core is a thing called a router. And that just connects you to the internet. That's all that device does. And what digital business does, it gives you the first thing that anyone has in Australia is what we call high definition voice. We've spent the last few years upgrading all of our exchanges to have a thing called quality of service. You might have heard of things like Skype and voice over IP. Good applications, very good applications, but there's no quality of service. So if you're running a business on those sort of things and your customer's about to inquire about something, it's no good, is it? Voice is a real-time application, and so is video, that you need to have conversations. And what we've done is made sure that that voice will work. And just a little bit of a technology thing, what happens is all these little packets run around the internet and they've got voice inside them, or they've got the Star Wars trailer in them, and the Star Wars trailer moves across the internet like this big slow thing taking up the wide lanes, and voices are like little Ferraris trying to get to the other end, and the device at the other end put all the Ferraris together, and that comes out as voice. As soon as they get stuck out there, it starts to do that sort of jittering that I was talking about before. So what you need to have, making sure that the quality of voice is very, very important, because that's your image in the business. What we then looked at is the user plans, and this is probably the biggest thing that's different now. You're able to look at, how do you want to work? Where do your people operate today, and where do you want to work? So today, you might be based at your home office, your shop front, your business, but you want to be based somewhere else, but technology doesn't allow you to do it. We can have the conversation with you and then tailor the solution based on where you want to work and based on how much you want to use the service. And we can tailor those plans at a per monthly price. No more does you just have to get this and one price fits all. You can actually tailor where your people want to work now, and the technology works for you, whether you be in and out of the office. Some of the key things and really cool things about doing that is that what we're able to do is that you share the voice allowance across your mobile phone and your fixed phone. So today you'll get a separate bill for your mobile bill and your normal phone calls. What this allows you to do is to share those calls, and that is very good. And the other thing you can share is the data that you use. A lot of people use mobile data today on their smartphones or in a little device into their computer. What digital business does, it shares it across your business. So you don't have to have all these individual plans. So if you've got 2 people in your business and you've got, say, $60 plans a month, some person uses 80 and the other person uses 10, that's okay. You share them across there. And it's a very, very innovative way to get predictability of cost into the business. We then have all the hardware devices, so if you need iPads or Samsung Galaxy tablets, which I think are out there with the Business Centre guys, all the hardware devices is all part of the package. So you can pick and choose all of the things you need to run your business, from the network layer, the hardware layer, all the applications and the pricing plans. One contract, very, very simple to bill. Very, very simple to order. You don't have to have all of these different things. You don't have to manage a lot of infrastructure. And what that allows you to do is the integration at the network layer allows you to do a range of different things. If you're going to be somewhere else than the office, you just program it up. So I'm going to be here, send all my calls to you. So the network knows exactly where you are and can contact you where you might be. This makes it so much simpler to be able to have a look at the pricing regimes that you're paying. You can have a look at predictability of cost, looking at this is my monthly telco expenditure, and if I want unlimited, I can get unlimited. And the predictability makes it very, very certain for the small business. There's a lot of enhanced services, so if you need support, help, on-site setup, all of the digital business services are there with people that will come to you directly and set it up for you. And if you need help, people will be there to support it in your call. So it's got all of these things. So we've combined everything, integrated at the network layer, the technology layer, and the pricing layer. And we're seeing, at the moment, more and more small businesses coming saying, fantastic, now I can use this stuff and get on with doing my business. I'll jump through how this works. I just want to share with you, so you start with this concept of a core. Now, I want to explain to you, this is the technology bit of it, by the way. So it just starts with a normal IP phone. An IP is an internet protocol phone. That's just an example of the real phone we got there. That just connects to a device called a router. Okay. In the past, the phone would connect normally just the telephone network and the voice would be taken across the telephone network. The router would be connected to the data network or the broadband network, and they'd be separate, so you'd have to manage infrastructures, different bills. What we have now, the router connects into the Telstra broadband network. And what we do, we carry the voice calls down one part into the telephone network, and we take the internet and data traffic, so your email, your browsing, via a single consolidated pipe. So you don't have to have a number of different lines. So you can have up to 7 or 8 telephone numbers, and essentially they just come down this single pipe. So you don't have to have a whole lot of infrastructure in place. You don't have to have a whole lot of different charging for lines that you won't use. And if you want a bit more peace of mind, if the network were to go down, we have an automatic failover with our wireless broadband backup. And if you think about our friends in Wagga, northern Victoria as well, where it gets flooded. I don't know if it floods much in Tasmania or things happen where you have natural disasters, but you still need to do business. Peace of mind to make sure that your business will continue running. It will automatically fail over into an environment where the wireless network takes over is something that we're finding more and more small businesses are investing in. Now, the good thing about the inclusion, you get unlimited voice calls. So our core, so we're starting with a core. So we start with one phone, we start with a core, and there's different plans too because people have different usage patterns. You might want to use the phone a lot, you might want to download a lot of data. So we've just got 3 levels of plans. So we don't have a whole heap of them, 3 levels of plans. Integrated voicemail, so all of the features that come with buying a PABX or a telephone system are there. Voicemail, automated attendant if you want to open your hours a bit further and direct calls. All the hardware comes included, the high-speed broadband comes included, and an email address. So you can get an email box which is a 25 gigabyte, which is a lot, and all of that is included in the monthly price. So you don't have to go and source these things from elsewhere, and you don't have to go and try and make them all work. It's just part of your package. So once you've got the core, oops, they've lost some things here. They've lost a whole heap of stuff, so that might be the TCCI's way of winding it up a little bit more. What I was going to show you is you can customise. You can customise how this works. So you start with a core, so that'll be your own site. Then you can start to think about, okay, I want a few more office workers, so you add an office worker plan. And the discussion goes that how much do you want to use the phone? A lot, not much at all. And so you can change the plan based on how you want to work. You might have people that work just solely out in the field. Might be in construction, might be consulting. So you can just have a mobility plan that will share the mobile voice calls across the whole core network, and people will be able to communicate nice and easily. The other thing here, which again you've got to visualise this, you have a unified plan. So people that are in and out of the office, you can actually have a unified plan that goes with this. So you can take all of these mix and match into a very, very simple technology architecture that then allows you to operate from wherever you need to be with access to all of your information technology needs regardless of where they are, whether they're in the office. And that's the big thing for digital business. So when we look back to the questions that we had at the start and we looked at how do I grow my business? So how does digital business do that? How does it answer that question there? Well, what we do, we integrate the fixed and the mobile services. It gives you the tools, the new tools of trade, to be able to respond quickly to your customers wherever you might be, however they might want to contact you, so you can operate in far more places than you have before. So you're working even harder? Operate when and where you want to. It doesn't, the way I look at the day, I wake up and I go to sleep, and in that day, I'm going to do work stuff, I'm going to do family stuff. That's just the way I rationalise it. I don't look at it 9 to 5, I look at wake up, go to bed, and I do my own stuff, I do sporting stuff. And intermittent times, I'll use my technology and my devices to be able to run the business, liaise with my friends, plot the next rucking strategy we're going to do at our local football team with the other coaches, share that sort of midfield setups that we're going to do, and also spend time with my kids, because for you, you've got to be a friend with your kids on Facebook. I just think as an adult, you've just got to go and see what goes on there. But I can do all of that, but I choose to do it. And I can do that very easily. Because what I did, I went and created a small business. I wanted to see what small businesses experience when they deal with Telstra. Not Dave from Telstra. I created my own company. It's called Channel Assist. I'm the director and sole proprietor. I went and found out all the things that I need to do to be a small business, and I'm treating it as a Telstra customer. And what it allows me to do is in my home office, I can sit there on teleconferences now with 2 phones in there with high definition voice. I've got my email, so I'm multitasking, which is fantastic. My daughter loves it when she sees me doing this. I'm still not as good as her, but I'm able to run conferences really, really easy and do my business. And even down here, doesn't matter where I am, I've got my mobile phone from my digital business service at home. I could change my voicemail settings. I could change the direction of where I want calls to be. If someone called me and said, Dave, I've got an order, I need you to respond right now, from my mobile phone, I can forward that message with a bit of an email to one of my colleagues and go, listen to this, because we've got an order, can you actually do this, this and this? And then I can come and present to you guys here. That's what it allows me to do. It allows me to change where I work. And the last one, it's hard to keep up with technology. My rule of thumb with technology is that the underlying technology can be as smart and complex as we like. If you can't understand what it's going to do for your business, if it doesn't change the way you live and work, I'd question whether you should invest in it. And digital business allows you to use all of this smart technology, but the integration that's done at that network layer to make the bits and pieces, all the tools of the trade work together, is unique. Being able to get the hardware, being able to get the pricing plan to work together, it allows you to do all of that with predictable costs and not a lot of IT overhead. And that's the key. And that's how we go around. I don't know how this has happened. I'll talk to the guys now. We just changed the slide order around. But what I was going to show you before is that we start with the core. You can actually just mix and match, okay? The mobile users, you can start to add to the core package. So this is your business evolving. Yeah, you can mix and match. You can have one office package. You can just have one core phone on the desk and just have all mobile workers. And the mobile workers and the office package guys share all of their voice allowances across. So you just have a chunk of voice calls that you can call each month, doesn't matter what device, and you can actually have that peace of mind that the guy over here is not going to blow out his contract on his mobiles. You can add data into there. So we're seeing, it's amazing how much more mobile data is shared today from smartphones or devices. People are sharing PowerPoint slides in business all the time. Applications like YouTube, video, all of the Twitter, all of the data that goes across networks now. It's unbelievable how much data is consumed in business. And quite often I'm seeing more and more people now for marketing using YouTube videos as a way to get referrals into their business. They're using a lot more data in and out of the business. And we share the mobiles and the data package in them. So I've described this for you, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time. But how would you like to operate? So if you think about the start, think about what the questions I put to you. Can your customers connect with you whenever they want? Whenever they want. And then if the answer is no, how would you like to operate? How would you like to operate so they can connect with you? And that's when you can start to leverage the power of some of this technology to start changing the way you actually consume the technology. So, back to that question. There's a lot of bits and pieces. How do I get there? The easiest way is to start a conversation. What we have locally, we have a range of business centres that are there for small business. They're small business experts because each of your situations might be uniquely different. It's not a one-size-fits-all. And so, if you're interested in finding out how you could change the way you live and work, come and talk to the guys in the business centre. There's a stand down here today. There's a video on digital business that can show a little bit more around how it works. And what we've done, we've created a fictitious bike shop, Pedal Power, that shows real examples of a retail environment, a workshop, and mobile people, and how it might apply to your business. So you can go and have a look at the video down at the Telstra business stand. But have a conversation with them. Talk to the guys down here and say, this is how I want to work. And then go from there. But if it doesn't change, just don't buy technology just because it's a bit faster. Right? It's got to really change the way you can actually connect with your customers, and that's the key. And in my experience, once you do that and you've solved that equation, you'll find that you can really, really harness the power of technology. So that's my slant on the new technology for business.